Good evening, and welcome to the Council Advisory Committee CAC meeting of 12 October 2021. This meeting is being held in chambers. We are observing COVID-19 protocols. You will note that members of council are seated at their carrels. Staff and citizens are spaced around the room to ensure separation. Citizens must remain in their seats unless departing the chamber or rising to speak, and must wear their masks at all times while in the chamber. The meeting is being live streamed on Facebook Live. The most up-to-date meeting package is on the Town of Kenfield website, and the public may send questions directly to the recording secretary's email at jwest@kenfield.ca. There are a couple of items I would like to mention this evening before we begin. Tonight, the new police chief for the Kenfield Police Service, Chief Jim Butler, was sworn in. Welcome, Chief, and thank you for your service. Former employee Julia Stevenson, you'll recall she was one of our MPALs, has been appointed as the Accessibility Capacity Building Program Specialist at the Provincial Accessibility Directorate. Congratulations, Julia. And tonight marks the 2-year work anniversary for Director Dave Bell. So good news all around. And this meeting is called to order. Have all of the councillors received and reviewed their meeting package? Does any member of council have information pertaining to a matter before this council which has not been publicly circulated? As the Council Advisory Committee, we will vote as a committee to either send business forward to the council meeting for ratification, return to staff for further information or review, or defeat the recommendation. I will remind members of council that we should continue to be mindful of our decision-making wheel, to make balanced and respectful decisions while adhering to our code of conduct. This council, through policy, has adopted Robert's Rules as our rules of order, our parliamentary procedure, and as the chair of the meeting, it is my responsibility to use those orders to ensure we get the business of the town done. We will be voting by electronic means for all votes except administrative. Our queuing system is active this evening, and if you wish to speak on a matter, please select the call button. A green light will illuminate on your microphone, and you will be called upon in order. Once you have the floor, the mic light will illuminate red. Please speak clearly into the microphone, and the Facebook Live camera is in the corner at the back of the chamber. Are there any conflict of interest issues we should be aware of before this meeting commences? Councillor Zabian?
Yes, thank you, Mayor Snow. I have a conflict with the Robertson property.
Thank you. Councillor Zabian, you will be asked to step down from your chair to a seat in the gallery when the matter of new business item 8 comes before council. You may return to your place when the matter is completed. Thank you. CAO Trope, could you please take the roll call?
Thank you, Mayor Snow, and I'm pleased to say that all council is present and accounted for, so you have a quorum this evening.
Excellent. Thank you very much. CAO, we have been provided with a proposed agenda. Do you have anything to add and or delete from this agenda?
Yes, thank you, Mayor Snow. A couple of items. First, under new business, under section C, we have policy B, C, and F. I'm going to be pulling them from the agenda. There's some information that we have that's coming from an outside source that will allow us to combine these and make them more efficient. So it will be 8C, B, C, and F. We'll be bringing them forward at the next meeting with those adjustments. And I would also like to add under new business 8F. So we have Crystal's House here tonight, and in their presentation, I believe there's a request for council.
All right, thank you very much. Are there any further additions or deletions? Councillor Zate. Oh, sorry, I double tapped. Go ahead.
Thank you, Mayor Snow. I have 2 additions I'd like to make. To facilitate a more transparent relationship with council and the public, I'd like to make a motion to discuss having a question and answer event at a location to be decided where the public can come and discuss any concerns or questions they have with council in an open, free, and safe environment.
So you're asking to have a discussion on holding an event?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Do you want me to do them each separately, or?
Yeah. We'll do that first.
Thank you.
Discussion on a public event. And you have details?
Yes.
Now, I would ask council, so you've given us a motion on that, and if we could have a seconder, please, to add that. Councillor York, thank you. So we have a motion to add discussion at a public event that has been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion on this matter? No discussion? Are you ready for the question? All those in favor of holding a public event? Oh, sorry. Okay, there you are. Deputy Mayor.
Thank you, Worship. So I think the motion's on the table and it's been seconded, obviously. So it's a public event.
We'll get more details.
Q&A. Oh, are we in discussion?
We're just putting it on the agenda, so this is just a motion to put it on the agenda.
Oh, to put it on the agenda, okay.
Yes, that's correct.
Then I will withdraw.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
We're just getting ready to finger problems here. Okay, so all those in favor of putting this on the agenda? Those opposed? The motion is carried. Okay, and your next item?
Thank you, Mayor Snow. The next thing is, I would like to make a motion that we discuss the allegations of sexual harassment, fraud, and threats of violence against mayor and council from staff. And if you would prefer to do that in camera, I have no problem with that. Also move that if there was an investigation that did occur, that all evidence be provided to council. Thank you.
You have made this motion. This would be a third time that you have made
Second.
this motion?
Second.
Third time that
Second.
you've brought this to add something to the agenda on this matter.
Second.
And it's been defeated. So you cannot bring it to the floor unless you get somebody who voted against it to second your motion.
So are we gonna ask for a vote then?
No, it doesn't go to vote unless you have.
But I'm not allowed to solicit people outside of chamber, so this would be the place to ask people for their support, I guess, right? Can't
What-
have meetings outside of chamber, so. how do-
I'm going to ask, as per our meeting protocol, that you put this in a request for decision, because what you are doing is you're bringing this motion that has been defeated back. So you need to have somebody who defeated that motion to be willing to put it back on the floor.
Right, why wouldn't we just ask right now if anybody were here in the room?
Because without a request for decision, we do not have all the details, and this is a matter which is not going to be entertained because of the nature of it.
What would be the nature of it?
It deals with human resources.
Right, but we can go in camera, I said, I don't have a problem with that.
Unless you I'm asking you to follow process and put in a request for decision and find one of the people in this room who voted against putting it on the agenda the last time. And if you do not have someone who voted against it to put it on the agenda, it's not coming to the agenda.
So you want me to go solicit somebody
No,
in
I'm
the next 2
asking,
weeks?
it has now been put out in the public right here. So you are going to prepare a request for decision, send it to the CAO. And if somebody who voted against putting it on the agenda the last time is willing to stand by your side and second this, the CAO will have that information.
Right, can you provide me where that's the process? Because
Robert's rules,
so you can't bring the same issue up twice again?
not once it's been defeated.
So if I go find that right now, we can find that and look for it? I personally, the way I look at it,
Councillor
Mayor Snow,
Zabian, I'm not going to sit here and argue with you over this
I'm
matter.
not arguing with you either. I'm looking for transparency. I think that we all deserve it, so I'm not sure what the
You're
holdup
quite right.
is.
We do deserve
Right.
transparency. Human resources is not a matter that is governed under transparency as you're asking for it. So all I'm asking you to do is to put your query down on a request for decision, provide it to the CAO, and it will go to the next meeting if there is someone who will second your request to put this on the agenda.
I wasn't aware that we were supposed to solicit support from outside of chamber.
I'm not
but-
asking you to solicit support.
Well, that's what you're saying. If I can find somebody in here who will support me, then I can send you the document. not understanding what the difference is by telling you verbally now or writing it up so that you have the weekend to look it over and decide what you want to do with it.
It has nothing to do with what I decide
So
I
it's
want to
here
do
now.
with it.
I don't understand what the problem is.
It has been defeated prior to this, and it's
Right.
not coming back to the
So
floor.
there's nobody in this room that feels that we should discuss this. That's my question, and then I'll leave it alone, I guess.
I will defer to the CAO on this matter.
And I believe in just for greater clarity, Counselor, what the mayor is saying is you do the request for decision. That comes to the chamber. It then gives one of those members who would have in the past voted against it to have consideration. So it's not about soliciting anybody outside.
Right.
It's a process within Robert's rules. So if you make that request for decision, and what you're doing is saying, here's what I would like to discuss, it's been defeated twice, but you would like to discuss that in the chamber, and if one of those members then changes their vote, it gives you the opportunity to essentially bring it back to the floor.
Right.
So it is a process, and it's a clear process, because the alternative to it, and this is why Robert's Rules does it this way, is you could vote on the same motion every week over and over and over again. So I'm happy to help and work with you on that, to
Right.
get that decision in, and then essentially it gives council an opportunity to review it.
Thank you, CEO. I'm just wondering what the difference is if I put it on paper or I verbally expressed it now. We're, the same group of people are going to be here in 14 days that are here now. What would be the alternative? I don't understand how the outcome is going to change. If I'm not going to go solicit people and call them at home or email them. So it's the same situation if I write an email and send it in on form, or we have the discussion here, is going to change? I guess on the other hindsight of it, those who don't want to talk about it, I guess, could go and solicit people to not want to talk about it too. So I'm just wondering what would be the disadvantage to I don't understand why I'm being shut down right now, when at the beginning of every meeting, do you have any additions or deletions? So I would ask somebody here in this room around council if anybody.
It's not your purview to ask people around council. You speak to the chair, please.
Well, I'm speaking to Ms. Chair right now, so could you explain to me what the
I've
difference would
explained
be?
it to you, and I've asked you to follow the process.
I am following the process.
No, you're not. Our
You've asked if
process
there's any
is, if you are
additions.
bringing something new, we expect a request for decision so that the information, so that our decision-making is based on all of the information. That's all we're asking
So
for.
every time that you've had a meeting, you've always expected them to have a report prior to the meeting before they add something to the agenda?
Not necessarily. If, as you brought up, that you wanted to have a discussion on a public event, and I asked you, did you have all the information for this event?
Right.
And you said yes.
So,
So I put it to a motion because it's you, what you are doing is you are creating an event for the public, is what you've requested.
right,
In this case, what you're talking about is an issue that you know has come before this council and has been defeated. Not only that, but it has nothing to do with transparency because it deals with human resources.
really, it has nothing to do with transparency? Our tax money was spent in gross, and it has nothing to do with transparency, Mayor Snow? I'm gonna
Couns-
hope one of you here will.
Councillor
whether-
Zabian, you're crossing a line here.
Well, you know what? Maybe it's time somebody does cross the line, Mayor Snow, so that we can get the truth out. Maybe it is time
How
for
do you
once
know
and
the
all.
truth is not out there?
But you have never expressed the truth,
It's
so I
not-
want to know.
It's not up to me to express any truth.
But the allegations
This
are
matter,
against
it's
you.
done. It's done.
You're accused of violence.
This is done.
You were accused of threatening to smash someone in the face, and you've never expressed whether it's true or not. So you want me to sit here? I find it very hard to work in this group.
Could I make a motion to recess? If there's a seconder, I don't know if there's, I just think we need to talk.
Thank you. All right. All those in favor of a recess? Those opposed? Motion is carried. Thank you. If we could clear the chamber.